the president, for the very first time, revealing more about what the administration says was an imminent threat, which led to the U.S. strike on Iran's top general. NBC White House correspondent Kristen Welker is here with more on that. Kristen, more than we've heard before from any administration official.
Far more than we've heard before, Savannah. This was really remarkable. Yesterday, speaking at the White House, President Trump said that they were tracking a potential threat attack being planned by Iran's top general, Qasem Soleimani, against the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. And then when he was speaking at that rally overnight in Toledo, he took it a step further. Take a listen.
Soleimani was actively planning new attacks, and he was looking very seriously at our embassies, and not just the embassy in Baghdad, but we stopped him.
So that's new, that he was looking at multiple embassies. He said, we have not been able to confirm that, Savannah. I reached out to multiple White House officials, NSC officials overnight. They wouldn't comment. They said, we're going to let the president's comments stand. A Defense Department official in a briefing with reporters didn't confirm what the president said, but did stress they were tracking a threat that was potentially imminent within days. Now, lawmakers, as you know, have been saying, OK, so declassify the evidence behind all of this. So far, the administration not ready to do that.
Or even some lawmakers saying, then tell us behind closed doors. The Gang of Eight brief Congress. There's been a dust up over that. What is this intelligence that you're talking about? And meanwhile, the House passed a resolution having to do with the president's war powers. What can you tell us about that?
This is the war powers resolution. It essentially says you have to come to Congress before you take any further action in Iran. Here's what you have to know. It's non-binding, Savannah. This is largely symbolic. It passed largely along party lines. And it does come because lawmakers are saying you failed to convince us. The briefing that you provided this week did not provide adequate evidence to prove that there was, in fact, an imminent threat. Now, President Trump blasted lawmakers overnight at that same rally. He said, look, as commander in chief, I have to be able to act quickly. And Congress and Democrats in particular are too busy trying to impeach me to weigh in on these very sensitive foreign policy matters. This fight is going to continue, though, Savannah, and it heads to the Senate next. Of course, a Republican-led body, so faces an uncertain future there.
All right, Kristen, thank you.